blossom, feel the summer break, like flowers blossom, feel the summer break. Teardrop on the fire, feel the summer.
Good morning, YouTube, or at least it's morning for me. So, out on my morning steps, we have our posing done, we have our cardio done. It is Saturday, so I seem to be recording these on the weekends, and the main reason being is not much is really happening during the week to actually kind of document. So, keeping these kind of prep updates as we get closer to the show at the weekend, and I also have a little bit more time at the weekend to actually pick up the phone and record. And yeah, it's just during the week it's kind of boring, right? So like I'm pretty much just training and working during the week, and as I mentioned time and time again, apologies, I have a leaky eye, you've probably noticed. But yeah, during the week, like I'm literally just sitting at my desk or at the kitchen table, either eating or working or getting steps in or doing something that's pretty boring, pretty monotonous, as prep is meant to be, right? Prep is gonna be monotonous because I'm kind of limited in what I can do, especially this close to shows. So I'm definitely looking forward to more social occasions in the future. However, right now we got to keep the goal to go. So yeah, this last week not much has really happened, to be honest. I had a posing lesson with Andy, so Andrew Chappelle, who I've mentioned before, pro natural bodybuilder. So it's cool to be getting posing lessons from somebody like him, who is like, you know, at an elite level, and you know, he's seen me from maybe like 9 or 10 weeks out up until now. So he's kind of seen my physique change every single posing session, and like he's given me a lot of encouragement, which is really good. It's nice to hear somebody who is like at the top, like, you know, saying that I've good potential if I stick with this, especially considering, like, you know, I'm a first timer. But I mean, like, look, I'm not really a first timer. Like, it'll be the first time doing a bodybuilding competition, but like I've been training for so damn long. It's just been a case of it's taken me so damn long to enter into a competition, right? But you know, thankfully I've got lots of experience at this stage with stepping on a stage. So with stepping on a platform for powerlifting, it's definitely going to help, I'd say, when it does come to getting up on stage and flexing the muscles. So that was the highlight of this week. So a posing lesson being highlight, that's, you know, life is pretty boring at the moment. Well, not boring, it's just monotonous, as I mentioned. Dealing with a little bit of stress in the background as well, which I won't get into, but you know, I'm managing it pretty well. I think, like, when it comes to being stressed, like, I don't really get too stressed over many things, but the way I generally kind of go about stress is like, you know, obviously you have the stress response initially, but then after that, it's just a case of being like, okay, look, is this really worth, like, you know, staying too stressed over? Maybe not. Is there anything I can do to take control of this situation? Yes, if there is, that's fantastic. You can change the situation then, right? So yeah, take control of the situation. If I can't take control of the situation, I need to change my perspective on it, right? This is essentially, you know, something I've picked up from reading so much Stoicism over like the last few years. Like, I mean, there's no point like literally dwelling on things, especially that you can't change, right? Because like you just need to, in those kind of situations, to take responsibility and tackle the stress head on. Like, it may be difficult to do, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's got to be done, or else it's going to continue to stress you out. If you don't tackle your stressors, they're just going to make you more stressed because they will compound. So yeah, dealing with that, like, you know, 3 weeks out, not ideal, but it's fine. Now, so this week we've gotten some news back from Brad in our check-in about, you know, how things are going to run over the next few weeks, which is really exciting. So we are getting some more information as to how the peak is going to be working. So I have a kind of provisional split as to how my peak week is going to run. So essentially today I'm having a high day as usual. So every 6 days I generally have a high day, and from this week my next high day will be in 5 days, and then the following week it'll be in 4 days, and then on that week where it's in 4 days I'll have 2 high days, right? And then the following week is going to be show week. And I'll have 3 high days. So I'll have 1 high day on the Tuesday. I'll have a high day on the Thursday and Friday. And then show day will be on Sunday. So I'll have 1 day on Saturday, I believe. I think this is correct. I can't remember the specific days. I probably should have checked my sheet. But I know the peak week, I have 3 high days. And then the week before that, I've got 2. And then, you know, they're just kind of increasing in frequency essentially up until then. So that's kind of how things are going to run. I don't have the exact nutritional split at the moment. I'm sure Brad will get back to me with that. I don't know if I'm going to be running the exact same kind of macros I'm running at the moment, or if it's going to be like an incremental kind of load across the week. So that's essentially how show number 1 is going to run. Not sure how show number 2 is going to go. I suppose we'll probably get good information as to how I peak on that week. Peak week. We'll get good information on that week, and then from there, from that data, we'll essentially be able to say, okay, that was a good strategy. Let's repeat that now for NBFI. So we'll see how that peak runs for WNBF. Could potentially do the same for NBFI, but that will be, you know, yet to be seen. It'd be interesting actually to see, like, you know, like I'd assume following the WNBF show, because it's on the Sunday, and then NBFI is the following week, that I'll just be getting straight back on the plan. Like, there would be no like post-show meal, which I'm fine about, like, you know, because like I still have shows to do, so I don't mind extending that kind of post-show period, because, you know, once the last show is done, I'll have post-show period for like 2 or 3 years. And then following the NBFI, I'll have a show again in 2 weeks after that. So, exciting announcement, I haven't mentioned it here yet, but I'm gonna do PCA show. So PCA is an untested federation. So I'm gonna be going up against the boys on the sauce. I've entered into Classic, so that is gonna be exciting. I've, like, in my posing lesson with Andrew this week, we were like kind of trialing some Classic poses, which I never would have thought that I'd have like in okay shape for, but, you know, he kind of gave me a bit of confidence boosting and said it would probably suit me. Other guys in the gym have said that as well. So, you know, I'm excited to give it a go. I'm excited to give, like, you know, give the boys who are on the juice a bit of a run for their money. Like, kind of small little natty boy, small 80 kilo natty boy, you know, do well against guys in the sauce. Who knows? I suppose the thing with Classic is, like, it's different to open bodybuilding in the untested federations, because, you know, they're typically going to be like, size is not like necessarily the most important thing. It's more about symmetry and shape and kind of flow. So that is probably going to stand to me in a sense, because, like, obviously if I entered into open bodybuilding and I was, you know, competing against guys who were, you know, 10, 15, 20 kilos heavier than me in terms of muscle mass, you know, I wouldn't stand a chance. So entering into Classics just seems to make the most sense. The reason I'm doing it is because Emma is entering into that show as well in figure. Like, I'm going to be up at the show anyway to support her, so I may as well get a little bit more stage time and just do the show. So yeah, 3 shows in total planned. So that is going to be on the 8th of October up in Galway. And yeah, that's 3 planned shows. Like, ideally, you know, I'm hoping to do well at the natural ones, so that I can get like invite to, I believe there is the UK, the FBA finals, which are in November or in October, middle of October, over in the UK, of course. Then there is Europeans for INBA. There is the Natty Olympia in November, as well as WNBF Worlds. So, like, you know, if I got invited to any of those, I'd be absolutely like thrilled. Like, to be honest, like my main goal would be to get to WNBF Worlds. Now, as a first-time competitor, obviously, you know, setting the goal of getting to Worlds and winning your class initially, you know, it's a big ask. But, you know, I wouldn't set the goal if I didn't want it, and I wouldn't set the goal either if I didn't kind of believe in myself and believe that I could potentially do it. Look, you have to kind of reach for these things, because if I was just like competing to stand on stage, you know, would I be giving this as much effort as I am doing at the moment? Like, probably not. I need to set kind of bigger goals for myself. You know, as I mentioned, I'm a first timer, but I'm not really a first timer. I've been lifting for so long. I've done so many powerlifting competitions to a pretty decent standard, competed on the biggest kind of stage that you can in Irish powerlifting at nationals. So, you know, I want to make sure that I stand on the biggest stage possible for natural bodybuilding. If not this year, definitely the next time I compete. In terms of body weight as well, this week we're pretty much almost a fighting weight. So I'm averaging in the 80s now, so it's like 80.7 on average after this morning's weigh-in. I'll have tomorrow's weigh-in, but like, you know, my high day weight, you know, is skews the average. So well, like I'm pretty much mid 80s, right? We have potentially like 1.5 kilos to go or so, which is fucking insane. Like I haven't been 79 or 78 kilos a long time, 5-6 years potentially. So you know, it's going to be interesting to see, because I took some pictures when I was at home yesterday back in Meath, and I compared my physique shots now, right? Because like, you know, when I would have started taking progress pictures, it would have been in my bedroom, and you know, going back to my family home, I had to bring out my posing trunks and like take some pictures again and kind of compare the last time I was 80 kilos to this time. And fuck me, like the difference in physique at the same weight is honestly bonkers. Like I'll throw some up on screen, like, and this is one thing I always say to people, like, don't get too attached to the kind of weight that you're trying to set when it comes to like achieving your dream physique, because like there's no real point, right? Like you should have maybe kind of set points for like, you know, kind of gaining cycles, and like, you know, set points for like, you know, kind of diets, but like these at the end of the day, they're just kind of reference points. Like over time, like I've seen my physique change at multiple different weights, and every single time I like go to a new body weight again, I look completely different. And this is just a process of, you know, getting stronger over time, you know, that increase of progressive overload. Like if you look at most natural bodybuilders, like professional ones who've been doing it for a long time, like their stage weight does not change that much year to year, like from show to show. Like they could spend like 2, 3, 4, 5 years in an off season, and they might gain like 1 to 3 pounds of muscle, right? Like that is such a tiny return on investment for the amount of work involved. But you know, when they get back on stage, they look completely different. Like they're more conditioned, they look more muscled, even though they're the exact same weight. And this is just a process of, you know, your body fat kind of going down and your muscle mass going up, and this happens over years. So yeah, that's kind of the main kind of thing to kind of take away from this. So yeah, interesting things happening. I'm pretty much going to wrap up this here because I don't really have much more to say. So this week again, as I mentioned, going to be going in with a high day 5 days time again, which is going to be nice. More food coming in, never going to complain about that. And then should have some more kind of interesting videos coming out soon. Keep an eye out. Chat to you soon.